another upload. Yeah, today's a good day, so we're just going to blast the last 4 wheels, steel inners I've got, and that'll get me moving along. I was going to wash the turntable frame and respray that today as well if I can. It's just nice clear day, no wind, it's quite warm, good day for doing all that stuff. So yeah, got the sail here, and we just filled the pot. There's the rim sitting there and all my gear. I'm just going to blast them on the pallet here. Just do those sides and I'll flip them over, do the insides. Don't care if I wreck the pallet. There's plenty of them laying on the sides of the roads in town here. Or the companies put them on the side of the road for people to pick up for firewood or reuse. So everywhere you go there's pallets laying. Got some sand last weekend, filled all my drums. I know the guy doesn't follow me, but yeah, it was a club I belong to, machinery club, and I don't actually belong to it anymore, but only due to circumstances in life, just too busy. But yeah, real neat guy. I asked him, he owns a farm out towards the coast, heaps of sand, and he said, yeah, no, come and help yourself. So yeah, I really appreciated that. I've got a few things I can give him to help him out, return the favour. But yeah, it's nice sand that, it's got a bit of iron in it. So it's good for blasting, and it was all dry. It was a nice day, well sorry, nice weekend last weekend. It was hot, just went out and we just picked it up. No drying required. I just chuck it through the sieve here when I put it in the pot. No issues with it. Alright, I'll see if I can get this compressor fired up, and we'll get our helmet and gear on and we'll have a go at blasting. Just to show you not everything goes right for me. Got the compressor sitting here up on the forklift, went to start it, yeah, no go. Tried jumping straight to the starter and still dead. So starter in my hand, disassembled it, and yeah, the brushes inside really dirty. This starter isn't watertight, and it's my fault, being what I am. I cleaned this compressor once because it was a bit oily, gave it a wash, and I got moisture in the starter. So it's given me grief ever since. So I've just run it on the bench. It run, but whether it's going to run under load, I don't know. So I'll just chuck it back in, and obviously we'll know when I'm blasting if it's going to go or not. We had light, as you can see, it started up straight away. I put my jump pack just on the starter, the battery's not the best in it, just to help it. Whether it keeps running, I don't know. Sometimes it shuts down, it's got sensors in there, and it's a hizzy for everything on there. We're trying to get it out and hooked up. Wheels are done both sides obviously. There's a bit of sun reflection on it there. They come up alright, they're going to be inside, so you're not going to see it. My boy is building a windmill tower structure. Yeah, a blast for it. Just something he's making around, learning to weld and do things. Just letting the compressor run down there for a minute. Hopefully I don't have to start it again. Should be right. I could see what was wrong with the starter. It's just an ongoing issue. So take them up, blow them down and prime them. Okay, the turntable just got a wet one put over it. No, the light's reflecting on in here. I had to get it in the shop, getting attacked by insects out there this evening. I had to go away this afternoon, do a few other things, so I sort of run out of time for painting. Anyway, that's had a Dulux overhaul. We'll go for a bit of a walk out here. Luckily I got these done first, knowing what was going to happen with the insects, little midgies. You got the rims all primed. They come up alright. Yeah, I oversprayed a little bit just on the in the middles, just where I spot with the gun, but yeah, there's something on there, soap or something, I don't know. I'll end up spraying those with a anti-rust material, I think, before I mount the tyres. It'll be years before they come off with me. I've been on there a long time now and they haven't corroded. But yeah, just like there, I accidentally got it with the gun a bit, so I'll just spray that and coat it. I should have blasted the whole thing, I suppose, and repainted. Yeah, I didn't really think about all that as much as I should have. I'm here with those, so they're going to go white. They'll go back to white, and I'll just go on the inside. Right, well that will pack up for the evening. Right, we've got Alex here. He's putting the bolts in for me on the slider. He's gone through and he's putting the red rescue steel grease on everything and doing them up. Bit excess on that one. We'll deal with it. I pre-painted the bolts, but I'm going to go through and I'll just mix a bit of 2K up in a little pot, and I'll just go through and I'll rebrush them once we've torqued them up. So obviously it's going to chip them in that. I just went white, something different. Just throw a bit of colour at it. You're never going to see it. It's all going to get covered in grease and rubbish if I use it. So anyway, he's lined all those up. He's dropped those in. He's just putting nuts on for me. And what I'm doing is, we got the deck plate here. I call it a pig's ear. She's not the prettiest of things. It was laying in the heat where this truck come from. There's quite a number of them there, been taken off other trucks, and just a bit of a parts storage area, scrap pile. So we grabbed this one. I've marked a line where I'm gonna dot the end of it, and then I'll work from there back, because it's got cutouts on the side down in there. So I'm going to utilise that to go over one of the brackets, fuel tank brackets. And then there's going to be quite a bit cut off this other end. But what I want to do is, I want to try and run it as far as I can up to the tower shifter here. But this had fuel lines sitting up here. You put a straight edge across the chassis, and obviously, yeah, it's right here in height. So it's never going to work. So I've just relocated the return line. Got that up past the front of the shift tower, and I'm just going to loosen the fittings on this, on the suction line, and see if I can lay it down and then maybe reclamp it somehow. If I remove that, which is sitting proud at the moment, and that'll get me the checker plate, deck plate right up to the shift tower, which will hide all this mess in here. And my bad looking transcooler, everybody asks, what is it? It's a transcooler, but I probably should delete it. One of the fittings is not very good on here, it's quite corroded. As I say, I'll just get the truck running and we'll figure out what we're going to do with stuff. I realise if I delete it, I just got to put a loop in the line. It's probably not really required here. Got the slider air control here. I nearly made a mistake last night. I was sort of thinking about how I was going to mount this, and I had it was through the frame and up inside here, and I was going to mount it on the inside in here. I had some fancy way I was going to do it, and I had a brainwave. It's like that slider comes right back and it stops and hits here. Yeah, but it just shorn it straight off. A pair of scissors. So that's got to go over, right over this corner here somewhere. I'll figure out which way I'm going to do that. But I need to go and get the air line, go from there over to the cylinder. I'll figure out what I'm going to do there. I'm pretty sure they got them in town here. It's just something, make a list up of things I need to do. I've got the springs to go on all this mechanism here. Got those done. You saw in my previous video I had all this off. All this here is operational now. I had the turntable to pieces. So we're getting there slowly. So I'll show you what I do here as I slowly do it. It's not going to be real pretty. The average person to go to town and buy another brand new piece and start again, but not me, on a budget. Just try and make it work. Okay, I've gone through and I've torqued the bolts up. The young fella come out and he finished just doing them up by hand. So I researched the torque specs. Don't know if I'm right or wrong. There's multiple things out there, obviously. Number of threads and all that. Clamping required and the stretch of the bolt. I won't get into all those details. I just picked a number and did it. It's not going to fall off. So I'll go through and I'll touch the paintwork up on those. Probably last thing today. Then no one's in here or myself to lean on it. And end up with some white on the couch instead of yellow. Couldn't have that happening, and then she'd know it was me. Two colours from the same job wouldn't be a good outcome. So I've moved on to this checker plate, deck plate, multiple things you can call it. I've got another name for it, but it's not family friendly. So I'm just trying to utilise what I've got.
I mean, one day I might have a big splurge and find something a lot nicer. I'll just see what I can do with this. So I clamped that on there and went along with the jigsaw. Well, it worked. Wasn't too bad, and I've just gone along with the grinder, and I've just, everywhere it touched on the steel, I'll just run a straight line. That'll be right. So I'll do some measuring, and I'll work out to make sure this cutout's going to work for me. It's the only reason I'm doing what I am. Otherwise I would have probably started from the other end. It's got a brace under here. Not sure whether that's going to... You should be right. Just. Might be cut off about here somewhere. Not too sure. Right, I'll do some measuring and I'll show you what I end up with. Test fit. So I've got it sitting on there. As you can see, it's sitting up quite high on there. So, sorry, I've got to hold my studio light with me. Got a few shadows in the shop here with where the cab's sitting. It blocks the light from one of the roof lights. So I'm going to cut this piece off here, which I'll mark after I put the camera down, and I'll cut that along here, so that'll drop it down. I'll do the same on both sides. That one there, which was already there, that'll drop down. I also need to cut out for this one here as well. I made that bracket, and that'll allow this side to drop down. The other side, it's all good. My exhaust bracket over there, I kept that it's down quite a bit lower, so it's going to miss that. Because on the frame here, I don't know if I can do this one-handed, there's a lip here on the slider. I'm hoping when I cut this that I can slip it in under there, and that'll retain at this end. That there, I will drill that, take that off, and I'll move that along in line with this one. And I'll find a stretchy rubber. I know you can get them. Put that there, and I'm a little bit undecided. I'll see where the front lines up. I like just to maybe put one bolt through from somewhere, just with a nut on it. I'll put a stud sticking up. And just drop down over it and do up. It's probably the easiest. I know the fancy ones have retainers underneath and all that. Well, yeah, I'm not getting underneath. Getting too old for that stuff. So I'm getting there. Made a start with it. I'll carry on and do a bit more now. So with that sitting on there, I can see it's pretty obvious. I've got to have one for the back. So I'll do a bit of hunting, see if I can find one somewhere with the same pattern on it. I know you can buy it brand new, but I'm too mean for that at the moment. Somebody's probably got one they've folded and something's wrong, or might even go to our local truck wrecker in town just with a picture and some dimensions. They may have one off a truck in there. And I can cut it up and put a fold in it for the back of the rail here. And I'm just thinking about it all before I bring it down and follow this, and I can utilise these. Just pop it over that and put some little nuts on there and hold the back down. And this has still got the same here. It's got a lip on there. I didn't cut those off for that very reason. Anyway, we're going to cut it out. Just fits up in there. And that would hide all my old plumbing then. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just, yeah, it's got paint stuck on it and all sorts of things. And that would tidy the track up quite a bit, doing that. Right, enough squirrel material. I get distracted and I'll start marking this and cutting it out. Obviously bring you back. Another test fit. So, as you can see, my problem is here. Got a gap, and the other issue I can see happening is because the nearest support, cross support, is back here. So, to a distance, we stand on that. It's going to do that. So there's two things I need to do. I need to notch this out in here, the amount which is there, because that's what's stopping me is the steel work up inside here, just up in here. So I'll notch it out, get that to come back to there, and then I'll end up, I can get it there, I'll drill and tap this, and I'll just put some short bolts up from the other side, and I'll bolt a plate on underneath, just sticks through, so this plate can sit on it, because this will be flush with this one here, and that'll support that. So that problem will be fixed. My notching here, pretty close. Don't matter if we go forward, might have to just take a little bit off that one. This one here, yeah, I'm out, but it's not going to matter. I'll take the same amount off here that I'm going to take off on the back, so that comes up. I'll measure that accurately when I'm ready. Just do the old should be right, mate. Obviously my gap will widen here, but oh well. That's farm engineering for you. That's what happens. I cut twice, then I remeasure. Get there eventually. As I said, it was nothing flash anyway, and you see why I don't want new material, because I would just ruin it. I have no idea what I'm doing with all this. I can make it look better. As I said, don't know whether I'll polish that or paint it. Yeah. We'll get it mounted first, and I do need to get away from the shift tower. I've got a bit of an issue here. That will obviously come back, so I might have to just notch this out in a nice half moon here. And that's hitting on the bolts underneath, which I thought it would, sticking up. So I might be able to get smart and have a look under there and drill that and pick up those two bolts which are sticking through and use those as my retainers. One thing at a time. We'll notch it and shall get it to go back. Right, I'll do that and I'll show you what the result is. Right, we're getting pretty close now. Done the final little trims. A little bit of filing on there soon, tidy that up. But yeah, I'll get that plate in under here. Then I'll bring that up flush with that across there, so that'll make it strong to stand on. Yeah, this here's sitting up at the moment, but I'm going to devise a little system that will just sit down on there. Probably put a bolt through, put a spacer on, whatever I make, and then I'll just have a piece of steel strap pointing in, or a bit of bar pointing in, and I'll have it threaded and just do the bolt up. It's going to be something simple so I can get it off on the side of the road when the thing has a hemorrhage and I've got to get in there to do something. Don't want special fasteners and that. And it's got to be something strong I can wind up like a bolt, because it's got a bow in it, this plate. Just want to tension it, pull it down. It's going to do what I want to do. I had to ship the hose underneath my fuel pickup line. I might be able to get it on here, try and get the light shining on the mirror. I know it doesn't look much, but yeah, up under there's a fuel line, and it was hitting on the support bracket of the deck plate here, so I've overcome that issue. Sitting very proud over here, but it'll pull down. It's got rubber under this as well, so it's not going to sit flush with it. And I'll put some edging on here, but one of my boys is here. I'll get him to jump in the cab and go through the gears, and I'll just see where this goes. I have a funny feeling I'm going to have to do a bit of a notch here. I don't want to slide the plate back any further. I'll just cut a nice piece out. Not going to matter. And I can put some edging. If I make it quite a big radius, I can use a bit of my edging. I'm recycling material a little bit cunning. I had some of this door edging left over, and I figured out that it's a standard material that goes on the edges. A natural foamy, the rubber piece, it's just glued on there. So I just pull it off, and I've been cutting it and putting it on places where I want it, tidy things up. So yeah, that's working really good. I don't know where I just put the last big piece on, somewhere on the truck, don't even know now. And yeah, it come up really good. I was happy with it. Right, I had brain fade. I remember where I put it now. It was in here. I put it on this, just to protect my wiring sitting on there. Not the best of wiring jobs. I've left the loom rolled up here in case I have a disaster. I've got a bit of wire to play with. I'm convinced I need to find another plate to put on here now, and that'll just tidy the whole frame up. It's not like it's yeah, a showpiece inside there. I'll touch those. I have a clean up on the floor where I've just been working. I'll blow the truck down. It's covered in aluminium grindings and dust and all that. It's all on the floor here. It's terrible. I'll blow it off, and then I might muck around and just paint those bolts and call it a day. I think the sun's going down outside. Yeah, I'll come up with that there and I'll show you what I do when I do it. Overall, that should be right. Quite cool. Pleased I put that support on the upright here on the exhaust. That there, it's, you know, I can tension it obviously if it's going to rattle, which I don't think it will. But yeah, putting that little hook on there would be quite awesome to tie the lines up. It'll help stop it dragging across. But if you turn sharp, by the time the front of the trailer's right out here, the lines are stretched anyway across over to there, and they're quite tight, so they're not going to hang down over the frame here and get caught on anything. Our design, our lines are all those curly ones. Right, I'll stop waffling on and I'll move on. Where am I at? I've made the brackets to, a bit sticky, to go under this check plate. I just had some leftover material, so that'll sit up against the plate underneath, and drilled the hole. That'll go through and that'll just get pulled up against the under the frame rail. It's the simplest way I could do it, with a big fat washer on the top. So that's going right up the front here. That'll be up here, so that'll be like that when it's underneath. It's the simplest way I could do it. Just turn it, and that'll just, I've dummy tested it before I painted it and that, and it clamps up alright. It's all sitting up at the moment. It's in the wrong position because I've been working on this here. So I made this bracket here, it's a bit sticky, to bolt up under here. The bolt's just sitting in there at the moment, so that'll stick out that much and the plate will sit on it. Yeah, these are just through there. I just got some nuts I'm going to put on underneath inside that. There was one little faux pas I thought I'd done, but I think I'll get away with it. This fifth wheel, if it was ever slid right forward, straight line along there to the other side, it'll just about hit the bolts, but this is a different elevation here, and I put an edge across there, and if that bar there ever come back, it is bowed, maybe, I don't know if it's straight or not. It might just touch those, but if it broke them off, it doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. I have no reason to ever slide the fifth wheel right to the front. It's just, yeah, you couldn't do anything because you'd be into the back of the cab if you had something on there. I'll talk about it more once the truck's operational. Yeah, I've mounted that fifth wheel, it's dead center in the slide, so I've got equal travel obviously forward and rear, and yeah, you normally want to be 6 inches forward of the center to talk inches, I think, somewhere. So it's in about the right place now to get the weight for us. But anyway, that's another issue. Talk about that later on. So yeah, undecided what I'm going to do with that plate. I got some acid today, so I'm going to do the rims, make a start on that. When it's raining, muck around with that. Yeah, I'm not going to acid wash that because I think it'll go real queer on me. I'm quite tempted to file it up, get rid of all my rough edges and have a go at painting it just to be different. I went to town today, went to the local wreckers to see if they had a truck in there with a plate on it, or either they'd taken some off and just stood them up against the fence, and no, they didn't have anything. So I've got the dimensions, I'll just leave that, it's not killing me. I'll go for a drive and see a few other people see what I can find. Just really want an old one I can muck around and bend it and cut it and do all the stuff with it. Either that or I'm going to buy a brand new piece and just do it. Whatever happens. Right, the next thing, window frame. Sorry, window rubber. Yeah, got that sitting on the ground here. Just trying to figure out which way it all goes. And it's pretty obvious when you look at the mask up there. Sharp corner. It's the top corner of the cab. And that radius is around the bottom, so that's fine. Why am I doing this? Because I took my broken glass to town today that I broke, and found out how much that cost me. I shouldn't have broken it, but in saying that, I've ordered two new ones. I'll just talk and walk at the same time, going to the front here. So I've ordered 2 new glasses for the front. They just get cut in town here. There's nothing special about all that, so they'll do it for me. Yeah, I could be a moan about the price, but glass is glass. It's not a big fancy thing like the machinery I used to own that you just shudder when you get to work and find that some happy people are throwing stones through the windows, or yeah, just over all that stuff. So yeah, new glass. And when I asked the man, he put it in, he's like, ooh, not really interested in that. And I said, oh well, when it suits you. And he's like, oh okay, that's a bit different. They're really busy in there at the moment, so that's fine. So what I need to do is get this this rubber, and I need to try and get it in place, and I need to get this centerpiece drilled and mounted. I'm going to check my old videos tonight to see which way that was in. I can't remember. There's a taper on one end of it. I think the taper was at the bottom. We'll figure that one out. And if I can get the rubber sitting there, obviously when we remanufactured this mask, these here were put in, and they're not drilled in here for the outside retainers to go on. So I could mop that up and get something drilled, and then at least I could fit it as the window goes in, do a bit of a mock-up. So I talked to the window man in there, and I asked him what they do under the rubber before they put it on here, and the answer was nothing. He said it's not, you shouldn't have to seal it. The rubber itself should do the job. He says it's pretty hard to get sealant on there and still work with the rubber. It's a bit of a drama. He said you can try and seal it afterwards if you're concerned about it, but normally no. He said brand new Max, the back windows, he said they have no sealant in the rubbers at all. So it was interesting. So someone will see this video and probably leave a comment and say, no, don't do that, use such and such product, which is fine, I'll listen. By the time I probably try and chuck this video up on the weekend, yeah, the glass won't be ready. So I'm not far behind in my videos. It's obviously only a week if I upload once a week. I don't stockpile videos and that. Need to rebuff all this truck. I'll have a go at the horns up here. Try and give them a bit of a clean. It's covered in dust in the shop here. But it's nice to get this in, and I can get the wipers on and complete that stuff and work on the cab a bit more. Alright, I'll stop waffling and I'll see if I can get this rubber in, and I'll show you my disaster. Wheel time. So I've been working away at them. I should have done it before shot, but don't really matter, only wheels. So I've had the acid treatment on them. Whether that's the right thing or wrong, who knows. I know someone offered to come and buff them for me once. I appreciated that. I'm just, yeah, I'll have a go myself, see what I can do. Sort of thing you can work away at later on. I'll try and get them semi-good. Just got to get that bit of tar off on that one. I'll work away, I'll figure out what to use to get that off. And the front ones, obviously that's the inside. Yeah, my biggest mission there was getting all the paint off. 2K paint on there, pretty hard to get that off, but I've attacked it with a sander and just, yeah, I'm not worried. You never see it, it's up against the brake drum, but I will get those semi-right, those front ones on the insides. So if you ever look from the inside, the wheel's not too bad. Obviously it's very early stages for it yet. The other side is looking pretty good. And these ones here, I flipped them over and I've done the other sides. They were really bad, they were black. So I've acided them heaps of times and scrubbed them and washed and scrubbed, and they've come up pretty clean. Obviously they're very dull, but that's right, we'll tighten that up. So I'll give you a bit of an update as we start and polish, see how we go. Better grab a couple of before shots, throw out the noise. Got my heater going here, quite chilly this morning. Just got it going on my parts here I'm going to paint. So these got cleaned, acid wash, clean, and the edge primer put on, battery box lid, check plate. Decided I'm going to paint that. I know I'm going to regret it, but not polishing it. The pieces that go up on the windows, they're all discoloured. Tried polishing, cleaning, they look terrible, so I decided I'm going to paint them. I'll always take it off later if it's no good. And the rims today, get those painted with steel inners, those done. The wind's meant to get up here today, it's meant to be really windy, so just early this morning. It's actually, humidity's too high for painting, but I'll get away with it. Heat it up. I had to go at the rims, the young fella. He's been sitting there doing that. They're a long way from a show finish, but really, it doesn't matter when the cows are rubbing on it out in the paddock. I'll do that. So I'll get some painting done and I'll have a look, see what it looks like. Alright, paint's on. I can see one thing I should have done when I blasted. I should have blasted the whole rim. Should have done the inside as well. It's one of my fatal mistakes. They're alright, still got paint, but this one here's got a little bit of corrosion on it. I'll just anti-rust that and it'll be alright. We don't have salt in there here. The insides are done. I know it's got shadows on it, but gotta remember they're just an inside rim on the truck anyway, so you never see them. I just wanted to tidy them up. And the other stuff out here, battery box lid, and no, I didn't paint it on the ground. I had it sitting on something and I just painted the inside of it too, sat it down. And one deck plate. It's going to be a bit different having a painted deck plate. I don't see a lot of people do it. The truck's different anyway. As you know, no shiny stuff on it. It's not going to happen apart from the wheels, which if I could I would paint the alloys as well. I just hate shiny things. And those window rubber retainers for the front, I don't know what that's going to look like. Oh, my farm pump's come on. Can't do much about that. I'm feeding the cows with water even though it's raining. So yeah, I'll just leave them in here to go hard. Actually the temperature's dropped now, the rain's come and it's cooled right off. Certainly not going anywhere at the moment. She's minus the front wheels, and obviously there's no wheels on the hubs here. I parked in a bad neighbourhood. She's on blocks. But I'll stop showing you this because I know you've seen it multiple times. It's good to look at though now. It's, yeah. You stop and think about it, it's a bit of an achievement. It is for me. I don't really do this type of thing. It's all new to me. Be right, get some wheels on it and we'll get it mobile. Right, as you just would have watched, there's quite a bit of everything on this upload. We did a bit of blasting and got the rims painted and the deck plate mounted. Window people are due next week, fit the glass. Hopefully that goes all right. So yeah, we're moving along slowly with it. I'll get these wheels polished up, we'll get those finished, and hopefully the tyres to actually fit on the rims should be here pretty soon too. I've got two new steerers to go on. I think they are new. And a couple of recaps, 4 recaps to go on, one axle. So we'll get those fitted and we can get the tyres mounted.
So with that, I'd like to say thanks again for your watching me and following. And yeah, there might be a bit of a lapse before I upload another one. I've got a few other projects happening here, and I don't know if I'm going to get much of a chance to work on the trucks. So yeah, if you watch this and then a couple of weeks go by and wonder why I haven't uploaded, that's why. I'm up to something else. So we'll just see what happens. Might be able to grab a couple of hours here and there, but I very much doubt it. So with that, I'd like to say thanks, and yeah, check in for the next one.